So we've got a number of people that have known Eric for a long period of time. Some have played in the NHL. A lot have played with Eric 30, 40 years ago in his career, in his journey. So we look forward to hearing from them over the next few minutes. First of all, a member of the family, Aaron Anweiler, will call Aaron up to speak first. Aaron?
Thank you all for coming. The reach out from near and far has been outstanding, and it's a testament to what an amazing dad and father and friend he was. I know I'm not on the pamphlet. It was kind of a game time decision if I was going to be able to get out there and speak, but I thought it was important, as a lot of everyone else is going to talk about what an amazing person he was. I wanted to say what an amazing dad and Opa he was to us. Again, my name is Erin. If you don't know, I'm Erin's daughter. If I look familiar, I worked at the arena from 1994 to 2014. My dad worked hard, and he did whatever he could for his family, and so many of you here today. He had high expectations, but he wanted everyone to strive and do their absolute best. Personally, Harper, Tyler, and myself lost our biggest cheerleader. It wasn't uncommon for my dad on Wednesday night to show up at the arena to cheer on the Ice Bandits. Sunday in Mississauga with my mom standing at the glass yelling, "Go Harps!" and banging. Before COVID, he would drive 40 minutes to Mississauga on Thursday night to watch the Fly Girls with his Hubba Bubba and spits in hand, telling me to wait on the pitch. He was very proud of everybody, and he wanted to show his support. If my dad wasn't thinking about the arena, he was thinking about Harper and Tyler. He was thinking about what he could do to make their lives better. He was the first to offer a ride. From a young age, I remember him driving my friends and I around. And it was usually the pickup as it was a night walk. Most of you can attest to a late email, 2 a.m. email or late text from him. He was a big sports fan. Go Leafs! Go Caps! Go Wilson! We had to add that in at the end because he couldn't just cheer for Washington. Argos! Personally, I think he just liked to yell that. But besides that, he was also up on most or all current events and weather patterns. I tried to call him to tell him I heard something in the news, but he already knew, and he would voice his opinion. He was very black and white. There was limited to no gray in his life. Most people would call that stubbornness, and if you ask Brad, I'm sure he would say I follow in my dad's footsteps. He was always thinking of others. As many of you know, you would receive a text or a phone call if a song came on the radio, or he saw something that reminded him of you. It was the little things like that that made him an outstanding guy. Powerades after hockey, convenience store runs with the kids after pickup, Werther's in the pocket, they're sugar-free! He was not a material guy, as you can see from most of the photos. His outfits were inspired by NT apparel. But he loved a good meal with friends, miss our daily chats and morning text messages to the kids. The shittiest part about this is having to enjoy life without you in it and creating more memories. I will try to live my best life, surround myself with good people, and always put the kids first, even when they're being shitheads. I will hear your voice in my head saying, I knew someone else like that at their age, meaning me and my brother. I will miss your big smile and your kind heart. Mom will not miss recycling all the newspapers. He might have been the last physical reader. She will definitely have less condiments in the house. The kids will have less money in their piggy banks because who carries cash around? John, you gotta step it up there. I will never have a better coffee with Bailey's, Caesar drink, or Caesar salad for that matter. I will continue to make reservations using the name Cartwright. I miss you every day and I strive to be like you. Love you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. And like we said, mix of family, friends. I'm going to call up Karen Stintz next. She is North Toronto, head of the North Toronto Board, of course, city councillor. Talk about, I think you were a lot like Aaron, that you were a go-getter, but you were clean up your laneway. You were coming with a newborn to thank everyone for cleaning up laneways. You know, it was a great work happening that we're doing that. And of course, being here ahead on the political side, but here as a cherished friend of the Urbanist family, and she was the North Toronto chair, and we presented to the board the North Toronto Hockey Association Lifetime Achievement Award here last year, so that was certainly a happy memory. And here's Karen to talk about her. Karen.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Aaron, for the beautiful invitation. The North Toronto community has lost a great legend and a great friend tonight. Eric is good. He's been a fixture of North Toronto for over 50 years. First playing minor league hockey at North Toronto, and then joined the rank as Pat mentioned in 1969 as a member of staff before taking over as arena manager. Known as Moose, he was both a force and a gentle soul. During his time, he saw generations of hockey players become champions, generations of figure skaters achieve great heights. And he also employed many of the youth, giving them the first job in his family. We don't spend enough time talking about those whose mission every day is to make their world a better place for those in it. Those who get up every day and put the needs of others ahead of themselves. Those who solve problems. Those who take comfort in doing the little things that make a big difference. Eric was this person. When I think about Eric, I can tell you exactly what matters to him. His family, this arena, and everybody who cared about his family or this arena. That was over 15 years ago, during my second term on council, when I really got to know Eric. By virtue of being elected, I was on the board of North Toronto Memorial Arena. And during that time, the arena was coming under attack because Lisa and girls hockey played pretty nice down there. And so Mayor, on behalf of the girls hockey, was going to take over the arenas to slide on the ice and fix the problem that didn't actually exist. Mayor Miller had not yet met They recognized we were able to demonstrate to them there was sufficient ice across the city that these side goals were not disadvantaged and they would have a chance to play as much hockey as they wanted. This was because of Eric Anweiler. Not only did he beat City Hall, he was able to get at least one of their second ice cap. And he saved all the arena and he saved all the arenas for the advancement of the outside of the city. We were left intact. Thank you, Eric. So 8 years ago, I came to and I'm sure many in this room wonder why me. I can barely skate. And I'm sorry guys, I don't understand hockey. But I defended the arena. And I was a friend to Eric. That was enough. So I became chair of the Toronto Arena and became known as FAC, F-A-C, favorite arena chair. And he was FAM, favorite arena manager. Eric had little things. When he cleaned out his town, he would give all the big feet and all of the chocolate bars and he would pack them up and he'd drop them off to my kids. And they were treasures. My kids look forward to these at the end of every season. And it was a highlight for sure. For me, he didn't drop off the feet. It was the coffee. He dropped off the coffee. It was during the time of COVID, actually, when things were all upside down and nothing made sense, and I was in quite a state. You know, the arena was closed, my work was closed, everybody was home. Everything was so uncertain. And I came home from walking my dogs one day, and there was a coffee on the steps of my porch, followed by a text. FAC, coffee on porch, FAM. Once or twice a week, I would come back to walk with my dogs during this time and I would see a coffee on my porch that we had dropped off on the way to the arena. Once the restrictions lifted a little, we would share the coffee on the porch, every now and again, putting little Baileys in it. And we would gossip. He'd gossip about the day, he'd catch me up on the family, and tell stories. Happenings about the arena. Eventually, life returned to normal, and I'm sad to say I can't remember the last coffee he dropped off for me. If I'd known, I would have made a point of saying thank you. Thank you for being a good friend, and helping me through a terrible time, for making my world a little better and looking out for me. Because once you're on the right side of Eric's ledger, you're there always, and you're never alone. And Eric was a legend, and all legends have legacies. And legacies are preserved because we remember those who stood out in our lives as someone who wanted to make our world a better place. Everyone here today is on the right side of Eric's ledger. Together, let's keep his legacy alive by remembering him fondly and often. And together, we will give truth to the phrase, no longer here, but never forgotten.
Thank you very much, Peter. Pat had mentioned the Steve.
Thank you, Gordon. This is not going to be easy. And I represent quite a few guys, quite a few girls who've known Eric for 50 plus years. So bear with me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Anweiler, affectionately named Scooter by Moose. I no longer look like a scooter, but we'll get to that. I'm a born and raised North Toronto boy, 4 streets north on Briar Hill Avenue, 1956. Probably a lot of guys here will like that year. It was a very good year. The story of the legend of Eric Bruce Anweiler began on March 3rd, 1956. We'll skip to the next important date. I was told by a few people I had to mention Bert Robinson because he did play there for a little while. So, there, I mentioned it. But the next important date was December 4th, 1965, when North Toronto Arena was born. The first manager was Ross Blatchford. I was fortunate enough to be one of the first guys to play house league hockey here. A couple of years later, I met Eric in 1968 when he played Pee Wee hockey for a one-year team called the Bay Street Wolves. Larger than life, Eric. Stood out. We met. We became friends. Are you still allowed to say Pee Wee? I'm not sure if you are. Can you say Pee Wee, or has it got to be under 12? The following year, Eric went to North Toronto to play on a first-year MTHL team. North Toronto did not have MTHL until Eric came along, so that's pretty fitting. They were called the North Toronto Panthers. The black and gold uniforms were really something. There was no green and white like we know today. 1969, now 13 years old, Eric got his first job at this arena. 13 years old, sweeping, mopping, whatever needed to be done. A couple of years later, after 3 years away from North Toronto, I returned home to play with Moose and all my buddies. It's now 1972. Minor midget hockey. The Panthers have given way to Moto Ski and eventually the Galucci Gorillas, which for a lot of you young people, look it up. The following 4 years of North Toronto hockey, and there's quite a few guys, if you can believe it, 50 plus years ago, a whole bunch of those guys are here today. 4 years of hockey heaven. 1972, the most important thing in Moose's life happened, though, and it wasn't hockey. We are all aware that the manager, Ross, had a daughter, Christy, who was dating our hockey trainer, Jim Moretto. Well, Christy had a beautiful young friend named Patricia Vandermark. Pat also, of course, worked at the snack bar. We knew that had to be. But Pat was 19 years old at the time. Eric was only 16. And if you guys remember when you're 16, who asks a 19-year-old girl out? You gotta have some big cojones. And we all know Eric. It was not an issue. He asked Pat out on a date. She said yes. They went on their first date to see Chicago in concert. But we're really dating ourselves now. Love story begins. But in the meantime, back to the rink. Those of us who played hockey with Moose knew how good a defenseman he was. I was reminded by Reed Ginyu, one of our goalies, how everything was okay when Moose was on the ice, but when Steve and Lauren were on the ice, not so much. More importantly, though, he was the best teammate anybody could ever have. He would do whatever it took to win, but he was really just a big mushy teddy bear, and everybody knows that. Except when a wrong needed to be right. And I'm dating myself again here, but that class did not used to be like that. So I remember one time, right over there, and the benches were over here. Eric had enough of the crap from an opposing player. picked him up and threw him over the glass. Problem solved. That is a true story. I was pretty happy he was on our team. Next step in Eric's life came in 1976. Pat and Eric were married. Of course, Eric was still working at the rink. Part-time shifts became full-time. 5 days a week became 6 days a week, became 7 days a week, right back? 7 days a week. But they did squeeze in some home time in the early 1980s, which meant they started their family. Everyone here knows today their kids, John and Aaron. But what also occurred was that Eric showered everyone around him with joy and happiness. My 5 children were treated by both Pat and Eric as if they were their own. Our kids grew up together. Family for Eric did not mean it had to be blood. Almost everyone here today knew that about Moose. The C&E, one of the traditions, and Lindsay spoke eloquently. My daughter Stephanie spoke about Instagram posts. The tradition began going to the C&E with the Anweilers. The slightly older kids, Aaron and John, and my 2 oldest daughters, Jenny and Lynn, could go on all the rides. But my youngest daughter, Stephanie, could only go on the kiddie rides. So Moose would go on the Polar Express over and over as many times as Stephanie wanted. And then, afterwards, as our friend Lindsay knows, it was off to the food building. Eric loved the food building for whatever anybody wanted, including those snow cones. To get back now to the beginning, as everyone here knows, Moose was the king of nicknames. He was always quick to give one. So when he started the FOR golf tournament shortly after 1986, the year Ross Blatchford passed, and Eric was the only choice to become North Toronto's second manager. The nicknames became a thing. Ed, Stoney, Gar, Bobo, Hairman, Hemp, Mr. and Mrs. Drysdale, Dudley Do-Right, T-Man, Scroll, Chuck, Scooter, Sonny. Once you registered, were given a golf cart, there were the nicknames. You weren't Steve, you weren't Mike, you were one of those nicknames. Now, Eric and Pat loved going out with people for dinner. House of Chan was their favorite. And if you ever went with the big guy, well, congratulations, you just got a free meal. Pat would always smile because she knew this was coming. Eric wouldn't let anybody pay. Moose and I played hockey for a long time, first in North Toronto and then men's league. But we were also playing fastball on the slow pitch with all our buddies. The boys would be boys, and Moose was the king of shower hijinks. We can't talk about a few of those, but the best one was Moose throwing baby powder all over his privates. Pat's laughing here, because she knows. Moose would throw baby powder all over his privates. It was quite the spectacle. Everybody knows Moose. And think of him now, and then think of baby powder. Enough said. But the away tournaments also showcased what Eric was. All the players and families packed the usual stuff: pop, beer, snacks. Moose, on the other hand, would come with a hibachi, a couple of coolers, enough food and drinks for everyone. Again, Pat would just smile with that beautiful smile of hers. There's no place like home. There really is no place like home. Always remember that, people. And Moose had 2 of those. 99 Joanna Crescent. And make no mistake that Pat and their family, Aaron, John, Red, Andy, Harper, and Tyler, were number 1 in his life. No question. But as everyone here knows, this arena was a very close second. Eric always worked 6 days, 7 if he had to. Pat saying the arena was number 1. If you know Eric, and we all know Eric and the heart he had, I don't know, I think family was number 1. Especially when the grandkids came along. The arena was a close second. Eric worked 6 days a week, but he never strayed from a particular set of rules. This will hit home, guys. Always put Bailey's in your coffee. Always celebrate with Crown Royal and a shot of JD. Gord touched on, never ever bring outside food or drinks, particularly at Tim's Coffee, into this shrine. Period. End of story. Christmas Day, special day for North Toronto, which I don't think happens anywhere else in this city. Every year, for as long as I can remember, who gives up their day to open this arena to their extended family? Moose and Pat, of course. All who knew them were welcome. Drinks and food for all. The kids were always taking the snack bar for a special treat. Always. Then a friendly shindy game followed by pleasure skating for all. Grandparents, parents, kids, grandkids, friends. How special that always was. And of course, the day was not always complete until Moose gave the grandkids a Zamboni ride. I'm almost there, guys. Lot to pack in, 55 years. Finally, Pat and Aaron shared our season tickets with Christy and have for many, many years. When Christy passed away in 2020, Eric wanted to keep her memory alive in his own way. So he called the Argos to renew all 4 tickets. But the stipulation were that 2 were to stay in his name, the other 2 had to remain in Christy's name. The invoice going to Eric, of course. Well, the Argos guy in the phone said, "No, sir, we can't do that." Eric would not take no for an answer. So he finally got through to Pinball, who certainly knew who Christy was. And the answer, of course, became, "Yes, Eric, we can do that." That sums up who Eric was. Always fighting for his friends and what he believed in. This final statement is for Eric, my good friend. You gave all of us so much joy, love, laughter. We loved you, and we will all miss you. We will keep you close in our hearts, and as you always took care of everyone in this building today, we will always be there for your family. Pat, Aaron, John, Red, Andy, Harper, Tyler, whatever you need, whatever you require, whenever you need it, just look around. Everybody is here for you. Rest in peace, my friend. Love you always.
Thanks very much, Steve. Great words from somebody that knew Eric for such a long time. Ted Hardy was one of those as well that knew Eric for a long, long time as well. And chatting about the great memories that go back, and he's going to sort of play off Steve's talk about the Eric from most of us didn't get to know all those decades ago. So, Ted, you want to come up now? Ted Hardy.
Thanks, Gord. My little talk today certainly won't follow Steve. That was phenomenal. That was fantastic. Mine's called Moose Dash. So when you pass away, the notice in the paper or websites always starts with the name, the date of birth, and then a dash. Today I want to fill in some of that dash behind there. Moose Anweiler, March 3rd, 1956 to July 18th, 2024. When my mom and dad passed away years ago, the minister presiding over the services shared a story about the boyfriend to my wife. And I also that each person in this arena was lucky to have in their lives. Who's his quick wit, kindness, generosity, dependability, and ultimate loyalty to everyone he loved. As Steve said, you're on that right side of the ledger, you're in for life. With an infectious smile, a larger than life personality, with just a few of his qualities. As Steve mentioned as well, he had a nickname for everybody. Ed, Mr. Janitorial, Jerry, CT, Hyder, Thumper, the Great One, Red, Tin, Big, Puffy Chest, just to name a few. The good thing about Bruce is he always knew when to come to each other. Always. An uplifting phone call, probably about nothing, but would make your day when it was needed. As Steve mentioned as well, that phone, that rate, the music would come on the radio, and I was like, there's this. Hey, Jerry, what's going on? Jerry, what's going on? Anytime anybody had tumultuous times in their lives, he was there to support everyone. He is one of the most caring, loving individuals that has touched each and every one of our lives in this arena. That's sitting here this evening, and don't forget that. Moose always has loved and cherished the North Toronto community, especially this rink. I think if it had been allowed at the time, he may have set up home at this rink. I don't think Pat would have liked it. Our color's blue. This is green. But they probably would have lived it. Moose has always put his families and friends first, after the rink, of course, and was proud to sing the praises of all his family. Pat has known him for many years, children Aaron and Johnny, son-in-law Aaron, Johnny's boyfriend Andy, grandkids Harper and Tyler. Moose and I met many years ago when we started our Castle pitch team. And many of his teammates over the years are here tonight to remember and reflect. As we said earlier, Moose was always larger than life on the team. Across hand in the air, there was a steady performer on first base with a huge stretch to help his teammates out when their throws went straight. Right, Ed? Moose was also first large double bubble I was on the bench. And all the kids on the team came and loved and made sure that Moose at least gave them a piece. When they tried to sneak it out of their store, Moose would shut them down. Moose was also known for his cooler full of beverages to share with all. And as well known, as Steve mentioned, shower and powder. He used to shower at that parking lot, and that powder was flying. Just flying. Huge, Moose was a huge supporter of all teammates, certainly missed by all. We were using all these in extremely, Moose was an extremely important and deeply touched member of the Vardy family as well. A huge hug and kiss, a fist bump every time we met, and inclusion every get together. Nicknamed my dad Sparky when he used to go out and support my dad all times. Loved my mom and my sisters. He's probably in here and he'll fight with my sister. And always helped my lovely wife, Lori, Leanne, Sharon, and Lisa, and all our family members as well. Moose was always a huge part of our family. Members, anything our kids did, hockey, baseball, football, again, a physical, a Gatorade, a snack, hot sauce only. Period. Every birthday our boys had, we used to give them something. Hockey stick, game tickets, anything that made their day. Just him meeting them was a fantastic experience for us. And the biggest thing in my life is support each other and don't be stooges, as he always said. Moose was really missed by all of us. Most importantly, Moose still lives in everybody's memories. And that's the biggest thing we have to remember. Is remember his memories. A few of the fondest memories of Moose was his passion, heart and soul. He put into everything through the years. The FOR/Blatchford annual golf tournament, which will continue next year. Just let everybody know. You'll get the notifications. As Steve mentioned, Christmas Day family estates. When my boys grew up, it was always a burden to come. We'd pack the car up, we'd be going to North Bay, but we'd come to the rink first. As Bruce said, one great story was he came out to see us as we were leaving, and there was presents built all around our boys, and they were in 2 car seats as we're heading up to North Bay, so it was awesome. And of course, this very rink. So proud of everything that he did and what made it great. As I mentioned at the beginning, the dash after Bruce's name has and will continue to be filled out. What each and every one of us here today should strive for is to be as good a person to all we meet as Moose was to all and each one of us. There's still time to make an impact on somebody's life. So, if you have an opportunity, take your dash, and when you're going to fill, and they're going to do that announcement when you pass, make sure your dash is full. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Up next, 14 years ago in 2010, I was emceeing the all-time MTHL GTHL team. So it was a great ceremony. Ken Wright was there, Brendan Shanahan, Paul Coffey. They were there in attendance. They were among those named to the all-time GTHL, MTHL All-Star team. Now, Eric Lindros was away at a wedding, so he had a previous commitment, so he sent a video
to the other person on the line as he was ending his conversation, if you need anything around here, let me know. He'd finish up with a pair of skates, and he'd literally walk around that corner and say to the person waiting for their wheels, if you need anything around here, let me know. That was Eric's way. He wanted people to enjoy their time in this building. He wanted to give them something extra, whether it was great ice quality, packed clean seating areas, dressing rooms, different halls on your wheels other than a typical or standard half-inch. Eric had high standards and a real loyal staff. He had Mario, Wolfie, Dave, Tony, and Joey who all bought in and felt the same pride. And I think it really should be noted that there was such little turnover amongst the employees over here, amongst the staff. He truly valued them. He valued their knowledge. He talked about their work ethic, their personalities, and in return, they respected him. Simply put, I think that Eric was really a great leader. I knew Eric as a real straight shooter. He did not mince his words at all. There was no gray area when you were having a conversation with him. You always knew the direction you wanted to go. He made time for conversation. He offered sound advice and insight. And he wasn't afraid to try a different approach to a problem. But no man exists without flaws. I was crying after hearing the horrible news of Eric's passing, and my 8-year-old son asked me what was wrong. I told him, and he too became sad. He started talking about how after skates, Eric would walk into the dressing rooms with a
throw me the keys and say, the candy store is open. And I'll never have a hot dog without thinking of it. His were the best. At any rate, Eric was truly a great friend, no matter how you look at it. I was on the board for about 20 years, and we served on the board. I say served. The reality was we were serving Eric. He would tell us what to do, and we'd do it. He knew more about the plant and the city than anybody, and he knew how to deal with the city, which is why he always made a profit here. This was the best run rink in the whole city. We were just sinecures for him. We were happy to sign because everything he made us do always worked out. It was just a normal thing that happened. When I first met Eric, I was dragging my 6-year-old into the rink for his first hockey experience. Now, I was very intimidated. I saw this guy. I said, God, who is he? He's huge. He looks mean. Didn't take long to realize what a softie he was. You only had to mention Christine Blatchford or Doc Lyon's name, and the tears would start to fall. There was his buddies too, of which he had more than you can imagine. If at any time you had to do something, if you asked him to do it, he couldn't do it, he'd say, just a second. I've got a buddy who can do that. He had more buddies than anybody I know. Why so many buddies? Because within those 15 minutes of meeting him, you couldn't help but become a buddy unless you were Adolf Hitler. Because he was just that kind of guy. You wanted to be his buddy, and you always thought he wanted to be yours. He was just that kind of guy. He just molded so well when you were around him. Back when I was on the hockey board, which was before I was on the arena board, I was in charge of the house league. Now, if your child played here, you knew what a big deal finals day was. There was spotlights, grandparents and parents, there were national anthem, music, everything. People, we stopped having the national anthem played on the sound system. One of the kids would stand up and leading the national anthem. It was really, it was a very touching moment, and everybody would stand and sing along with this young man. Well, sitting in the boardroom, there are 2 teams in each division playing for the championship over 2 days. So, one year while sitting in the boardroom, congratulating myself on another well-run tournament, I'm sitting there and I realize, God, I don't have an hour for the midgets. Jeez, what am I going to do? Well, of course, I ran down to Bruce's office, prepared to grovel for another hour. Please move. I didn't need to. He said, just a minute. Picked up the phone, and he talked to another one of his buddies. This fella had an hour, a standing hour every Sunday here at the rink. I had my hour, just like that. No problem. It was ours. And then nicknames. Of course, he had nicknames for everyone. When he heard, he called me Richard once. And he heard my wife Patty say, call me Dick and whatnot. Well, from there on, I was tricky. Tricky this, tricky that. And then it went, Mrs. Tricky was my wife. Just like you know Mrs. Moose, you've probably seen her license plate out in the parking lot. And then there were others that came along. The staff, there was Shaq, there was Boomer, there was Wolf. He just had one for everybody. But then there was also for other people. For instance, Tim Aikenhead was known as 100% cotton. Chip Aikenhead was known as Mr. Takeout Coffee. That was when it first started. He had no more outside drinks. But
Thanks, Lord. Walking here today from a couple blocks over, I thought it was so cool to see everybody coming out of their houses in suits from around the community, walking down the sidewalk up to North Toronto Arena. Pretty special thing for a special guy. I just want to start by acknowledging what an amazing job the Crawford and Anweiler families, along with the arena staff, have done here today. I know Eric would be so happy. The last 25 years, North Toronto Arena has been one of the most special places in my life. I started out as a young boy watching my older brother play and eating the hot dogs and donuts from the snack bar. From there, it became North Toronto House League, then Select, and then Double A for a number of seasons. 6 years ago, my time at NT came full circle when I got to bring the Stanley Cup back to this amazing arena and share it with the community. So many different things and people go into making NT such a special place for everyone that walks through those front doors. But throughout my entire time here, there was always one staple that made the rink truly what it was. That staple was Eric and his team. That staple was Moose. Pat, I feel very honored to be up here today to say a few words. To be honest, I wasn't quite sure where to start. One thing I do hope I said enough to Moose over the years was thank you. Thank you, Moose, for giving so much to this rink and the game of hockey. Thank you for giving myself and thousands of other kids the opportunity to play the sport we love and chase our dreams. Thank you for the text after every single Caps game and for always having my back, no matter how many penalty minutes I had that night. There's not many as loyal as Moose, and I felt that throughout my entire career. Some questionable hits and a lot of penalty minutes. He would be the first in line to defend me. And finally, thank you for always making NT feel like home. I want to tell a quick story about one of my favorite memories that I got to share with Eric. And no, it's not about him yelling at me in the hallway to stop playing mini sticks when I was 5 years old. That was pretty scary. As I mentioned, in 2018, myself and the Caps won the Stanley Cup. When I got that day for spending 24 hours in Toronto with the Cup, naturally, one of my first orders of business was a call to Eric. Very quickly, we both agreed that I saw that NT would be necessary. Amongst the entire planning process that morning at North Toronto, Moose never asked for anything. It was his rink, but he never made it about himself, even though he was such an essential part of why I got to live out my dream. Luckily, my dad had come prepared with a bottle of Jack Daniels as a thank you. Before the event got underway, Moose and I were able to spend a brief moment in those classic North Toronto Arena dressing rooms, reflecting on the journey and sharing a drink. I was a local kid from around the corner, pouring a shot of Jack Daniels into Lord Stanley for my great friend and legendary rink manager, Moose. A moment I know we both treasured and a moment I'll never forget. Eric was an extremely loyal, larger-than-life kind of guy, and I thought he would be at NT forever. The fact that his time here was cut short was not fair, and the rink definitely won't be the same without him. As I reflect, I think it is so unique to be able to leave a legacy behind like Moose did. With this rink and all the special bonds he made with the people here today, I have no doubt
Thank you to Lord Stella for seeing the event today. I know the relationship that Moose and you had, and he would be so honored to have you do this for him. Thank you. Thank you to Karen Stintz and the entire board of directors. Thank you to Alan Chen and the entire Crawford family, Morley Esbeth Funeral Home, for making all the arrangements today, making this day happen, making it special. But thank you for being such a close family friends of ours. Thank you. Thank you to Blair Robertson and Rich Ruda from the Hockey Association for helping Friday night set up the arena floor. Thank you to Marie Johnson McKenzie from the skating club for helping Friday night set up the sound system and music. Thank you to Rob Walker and his team from Big Dog Media for helping with the slideshow. Special thanks to all speakers today. Karen Stintz, Steve Campbell, Eric Lindros, Ted Murray, Dick Parker, and Thomas. Thank you to everyone that made time in their busy schedules to come out and show support. We all know the Moose wouldn't want to put anyone out on a Sunday in the summer. Thank you to everyone that traveled to be here in person today. Family and friends who come from Texas, Kentucky, Maryland, Mississippi, and all over Ontario. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that's watching the live stream from as far away as Texas, Syracuse, Arkansas, Mississippi, Florida, South Carolina, Newfoundland, Hungary, Pennsylvania. I guess the pleasure of going last is we kind of have a few repeat stories that are going to happen, and one that's going to start here is Eric, Dad, Oba, Moose. Four names that were often associated with speaking about that man. How ironic is he gave everybody ever met a nickname. Those nicknames often stuck. You were now known as Jerry, Tin Man, Super Dave, Miss Vodka, Go, Drysdale, Wee Jimmy, Spinner, Great One, Stretch, Biker Ed, Weapon, Hollywood, Stefina, Legs, and I could go on forever here. Sexy, Wild Man. There's so many more nicknames, but I probably can't say it for sense reasons. The theme of today, and all that is spoken and reached out since who's past, is family and love. North Toronto Arena is Moose, and Moose is North Toronto Arena. Pat and Moose met here. Well, they were both working many, many years ago. My wife Erin worked here for 20 years, and yes, she's exactly like her father. This rink and the staff, past and present, have been such a special part of our life for so many years. It was always entertaining when our kids would come home and hear who was working at the rink and what was going on that day. Thank you to all the staff that have welcomed our kids into your lives. It truly means a lot. When we lost our son Carter 10 years ago, the staff and many others had a trip planned in honor of Carter. It's the first thing you see on the left when you pull into the parking lot. It's the last thing you see on the right when you leave. Family first. I'll never forget that gesture. I would often leave the rink with Moose, and he would often stop slowly as he was driving by. And he'd say, "I love you, buddy. I love you, Carter." Moose loves so many people. He loved each and every one here today watching online. But there's two people that he loved more than anything else in this world. Heart right to Jonathan Fry is going to Harper, it's not embarrassing. It's just over. COVID was a terrible time in the world. I won't get into that whole mess. But what it did allow was opening to spend a lot of time with Harper and Tyler. Many, many days Open would have the kids at the rink. I don't know about your family, but when we say we're going to the rink, we're coming to Open's rink. Looking back at that time was so valuable for Open the kids. Harper and Tyler would have this rink all to themselves, and it meant so many of you in attendance because it might be the only 2 kids allowed to run in this rink. They would ride their bikes in the second mile club and often be on the ice skating. When it was time to head home, Tyler would say, "Oh, we're going to put a flood on." And off the 2 of them would go down the hall and fire up the Zamboni. Tyler, at the young age of 2, learned the ins and outs of the Zamboni. What 2-year-old would watch the Zamboni instructional DVD in our car while we were driving around? It was his first ask always. He wanted that on. One night we're watching friends of ours, Sam and Ollie's daughter, play at Meadowville Arena. I was on the glass watching the Zamboni flood before Abby's game, and I looked over and he had the most confusing look on his face. I walked over and said, "Buddy, what's up?" Puts his arms in the air, and he goes, "The Zamboni driver's got his corner brushed down." Tyler raced down when the flood was ending to tell the Zamboni driver that he didn't have his corner brushed down. 2.5 years old, all because of Opa. Every moment Opa got to spend with Harper and Tyler was his favorite. Trips to Myrtle and everything in between. Memories that last a lifetime. You'd almost have to think that in 20 plus years, Tyler, you can become the 4th manager in this arena. Opa's favorite number. If I can become half the father that Moose and my dad Ron have been to us and our families, I would consider it a success. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure he didn't build this arena with his 2 hands. But he definitely made it a home for everybody here today. They say that you should leave this like better than you received it. Eric, Dad, Opa, Moose, you've certainly done that. You built a legacy that will never be matched. Moose, I love you. Thank you. Thank you, parents. Have a round of applause for the Tom Wilson, Carolyn Ross, and of course, the grandkids, Harper, Tyler, one more team for the Aaron Anweiler family. It's a fantastic year. So, what we're having now is basically, it's the end of the ceremony. We actually are remain seated, that we're going to
you.